I wanted to thank Dr. Simon, first of all, for having this event today, because in Jefferson County, it is so very hard for conservatives to have a voice, not even just with the general population, but within the Republican Party. And that's why I participated in the Republican caucus convention, even though 69% of Cruz and Trump carried Jefferson County, we still were, the people that were against Cruz and Trump are now delegates. And I think that runs contrary to the wishes of the people of Kentucky. Don't you all? First of all, I'd like to thank the firemen and the ladies who made this wonderful dinner tonight. Just like Mom used to make. And I also wanted to say that Matthew 6:26 said, "What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul?" That would be my mantra if I was elected to be your congressman. Because there is no vote that I would ever take that would be against my conscience and my principles. If we look at Congressman Massey and the Freedom Caucus in Washington, and we see people who are 50 or 100 Republicans who are willing to stand up against their own party, against Paul Ryan, well, I would be amongst them. I would stand up for that, because I don't know if many of you remember, but one of my heroes, General Curtis LeMay, used to say, the price of failure might be national survival. And I believe that the military and the veterans of our community need to be recognized, need to be supported. That's why I strongly oppose moving the Veterans Hospital. I think Yarmouth, as my opponent, is someone who has got schemes on that 40-acre, $1 million property with his political allies. And I think it's time that we stood up for our veterans and stood up for the people who defended this country and walked the walk and talked the talk. I have a consistent record as being pro-life, as speaking in front of right to life, as standing for those principles. The issues that Dr. Simon said we need to briefly speak on were, of course, I believe that Islam is a direct threat to the United States of America. And frankly, this may be politically incorrect, but I do agree that maybe we should take a look at halting immigration from the countries that are housing so much of the terrorism in this country today. Every place that Islam has on the borders of, whether it is China, whether it is Christian Africa, whether it is Europe, whether it is Israel, of course, every place that Islam and Christianity, or Islam and Hinduism and Islam and Eastern Orthodox Christianity come and borders on, it's always the Muslims that are causing the trouble and are killing people and beheading them. And like Curtis LeMay would say, we should consider bombing them back into the Stone Age, which is where they want to be anyway. So I don't believe in killing people, but there's something to do with survival. We have to think of our children and grandchildren on that issue. Finally, on the issues of the bathroom issue, I think that's a ridiculous issue. I will never shop at Target again. I think we need to have one bathroom, one man, one woman bathroom.
Let's see if we can get back here.
Our last person running against Yarmouth is Robert DeVore. And let's give Robert a big hand. He's running for the Congress in 3rd Congressional District here in Louisville.
A lot of stuff that Corley Everett said, I agree with. And I think the basics we need to get back to, basics of faith, family, and freedom. When you have the Declaration of Independence was bound and looked at as from the Founding Fathers, where they looked at it and said, this is our God, this is our Creator, we're going to utilize His resources to build a great country. Family, community, we're involved right now. You had the ladies out there doing the cooking. Those things, those key ingredients, bring it together, focusing on what's best for the community. We need to get involved in that. And freedom. Freedom is something that's been taken left and right from the political arena, and they're taking that, stripping out one piece at a time. And that's what we need to do. So what I'm going to do is I want to talk about thinking outside the box. Aren't you tired of traditional politicians running around the same tree saying, we're going to cut taxes, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, but they never really give you an answer. So I'm going to give you something to chew on. What I want to do is I want to energize the middle class. It's our money that goes into Frankfurt. It's our money that goes into Washington, D.C. We pay the taxes. It's time to get some of that back. So what I'm going to do is introduce an opportunity, an idea of saying we're going to take 3% of that from the federal and then another 1.5% from the state, bind that together, focus on what's best for our employees, either create a 401k or add to that 401k. Because if you ask the young kids, they're going to say, okay, hey, are we going to get any Social Security when we get to be 60? And they're going to say no. So we need to come up with a better idea to get strengthen the middle class base. So by doing that, you take 4% and they match 4%, that's 8%. So 20 years from now, they're going to have a nice pension. But is anybody talking about that kind of stuff? No, because Washington, D.C. wants to control your purse. So we need to focus on that. Now that 1% I was talking about, we need to start looking at the brothers and sisters down the West End. 13% unemployment. That is unheard of down the West End. We need to focus on how we bring them back. Either focus on training them, give them the tools to be successful, give them the jobs to be successful, bring them back. They're our brothers and sisters. But no one talks about the West End. All you hear is about murders and who's getting shot this time, okay? So we need to focus on how we bring that back into the fold. They are our brothers and sisters, and we need to focus on that. Next off, term limits. A lot of guys out there, including Mr. McConnell, which I do appreciate, have been there a long time. Time to get some new blood in there. They talk about term limits about as much as they talk about the debt. The debt is $20 trillion, which is mind-boggling, okay? And then that's the whole point. Again, we need to spread the word. While must be heard. Focus on what's best. I agree with the military. I belong to the FRA, Fleet Reserve Association, and they're so upset with what's going on with our probably future hospital. Now they're still doing the environmental studies, and they'll keep on doing environmental studies, and nothing's happening. So now they're saying 2023 for the new hospital. Well, I don't see that happening. And we need to put a foot to the pedal and focus on getting those guys out of here. And to me, it's time to retire John Yarmouth today. No matter who we are, we need to retire him today. Today, go out there and get a good job. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and let's see where they come from paying taxes.
Here's Rory Houlihan.
Let's give him. He's running for U.S. Senate against Rand Paul.
But first I have to go through and get elected. This is primary. So I'm running against Ron Leach, Silas Weiler, Tom Reckenwald, and what is his name? Jim Gray.
Okay.
It's a horse race. There's 6. There was 7. There's now 6 candidates running for U.S. states for the U.S. State Senate seat in the Democratic primary. I am the only one here. So my name is Rory Houlihan. I was born to Robert and Patricia Houlihan. How many of you have been ruined by government? I actually have. Okay. Do you think I'm going to do overreaching laws? Or light touch does much? Once you get ruined, then you have to face financial consequences of that. I had to face foreclosure. I can tell you that our community banks are the heroes, and I will do everything possible to protect our community banks. Like Central Bank, like Republic Bank, I will protect them. They were the heroes. They didn't get billions of dollars like the too big to fails. And they just turned around and went after homeowners. Okay? The community banks didn't. Okay. Next thing. I found out that ALEC laws allowed the banksters to jump your client mortgage and take your house from the courthouse. I had to go into bankruptcy to stop them from doing that. Okay? After that, I figured I better learn something about government. So I started investigating. What I found was bills like H.R. 933, which had 233 one-line amendments put in. Now that's your veterans programs, H.R. 933. I also saw a bottleneck put in to it to keep veterans from having those items. Each of those 233 items were about $25 million apiece. So you do the math. 25 times 233, and you wonder why the veterans didn't get the benefits. Okay? Because they had to pay back those investments. Okay? When we look at just page 78, you want to know why corn went from $8 to $2.30 overnight? Well, Roy L. Blunt, senator in Missouri, was given $25,000 by Monsanto and gave Monsanto a get out of court for a year amendment. And China got a wind of that and didn't trust any of our food, and they basically stopped the shipment right at the docks. Sent all our stuff. Thank you. You want me to talk about, I see a lot of ticking time bombs coming down the road. That's why I'm running, because I'm here actually to stop them. Okay? Minimum wage. I don't know how you stand on it, but all recession start with the poor and end with the poor. For 40 years, we didn't have a recession. Okay? That's a fact. Because we had incremental minimum wage increases. If you take a look at the end of the bus cycle, you see a consumption collapse, followed by a banking collapse, followed by a stoppage of capital, followed by massive company closings, followed by job loss. If you give incremental increases in the minimum wage, you keep that bus cycle from happening. Thank you. I'm sorry I was not too winded, and I didn't get to everything. You have a good day, and thank you for being a lovely host. I really appreciate that.